I'm ready to start my next mosaic, and I have most of the pieces, but got a couple of Bricklink orders here to kind of help fill that out. I'll show you in a moment just how many pieces, well, at least how large this mosaic is going to be. Now this order is from a large quantity bulk seller on Bricklink. Here I've got, whoops, what happened there? Is there a hole? I don't know. I have a lot of these medium blue 2x2 tiles. Those are for the upper part of the sky. And but I needed some 1x1s to be able to fill in the gaps, so that's what we got here. This is not for the mosaic. It's one of these things where this is the prices that this seller has are actually pretty good if you need fairly large quantities, hundreds. But it turned out that as I was looking through the store, these 1x4 sand blue bricks, these were lower than just about anybody who had any kind of quantity at all. So I decided, well, I might as well go ahead and get these. I've got 1x1 sand blue bricks, and you know, that as a minimum some 1x1s and either 1x4s or 2x2s can be used to fill in areas of this color if I need it. Not for this particular mosaic, but for later on, and so I couldn't pass up that price. Now this other order, this larger order, this was a seller who had a lot of things on sale, and so some of these are things that I need for this mosaic, some aren't. Now these plates in the blue colors, those are going to be for sky colors in situations where I'm not going to use tiles from the sky. He had a few 2x2 medium blues tiles, and so I got those. Medium azure is the other color I'm using for the sky. That's the lower, lighter color of the sky, lower in the sky. And so I have 2x2s for those as well, but 2x4s are good. Again, more plates. Also, I went ahead and got some bricks. I may do some mosaics with the sky as bricks, and just a few odds and ends here. And these were just 2x2 bricks. Again, this is a lot of stuff on sale. Whenever I can get them on sale, I usually try to pick up 1x4 black tiles because they're good for a lot of things, including things like borders. And also, if I do a mosaic and I need the nighttime sky, like that telescope dome project I did, these work well and are cost effective. And so that's what this Bricklink order was. Now I have some more Bricklink orders on the way to fill in a few random pieces that I still need or that I forgot about. So let me push that out of the way. This is the left half of the mosaic, and it's gridded to the colors that my software found. I'll try to get that on there so the lights aren't too reflective. So the upper part of the sky, medium blue, the lower part of the sky, medium azure. This boundary, I'm still trying to figure out. I may try to do a little bit of dithering here to kind of make that a smoother transition. But this mountain range, this is the snowy range in Wyoming. I lived near here for quite a while, and this was the first mountain range that I did any sort of real hiking and a little bit of climbing. So it has some sentimental value. These are various rock buttresses, and then with snow slopes, couloirs between them, and trees and rocks and everything else. There's the right half of it. There's the highest point there, called Medicine Bow Peak. And this is mostly snow slopes in here. The cliffs are on the left side, and then this slope is a little more gentle and is not as cliffy. And so this is the mosaic I'm going to make. Now, the way I've designed this so that it's 44 studs high and 236 studs wide. Now, you can think about that. I'm also going to put a 2 stud ring around there as a border. So actually it's 240 by 48. Well, that number makes a little more sense. Because, of course, you can get 48 by 48 base plates. And so it's one of these 48 stud base plates high and 5 wide. So I'll let that sink in for a little bit. My telescope dome and building project was pretty wide. This is going to be even larger, although it's short, it's not as high, it's going to be much longer. So if we do the math, 240 studs wide times 8 millimeters, we're talking something that's, we're getting up to around the 2 meter wide range. So this is going to be more than 6 feet wide, and the height isn't so bad, but it's going to be quite long. And I'm already thinking about how I'm going to mount this. I think what I'm probably going to do, I don't really like these base plates because they're so thin. They're fine if you're setting things on the table. They're also good for making weird noises. So that's always fun. But what I think I'm going to do is I'll have these 5 plates across, and then on the back I will mount those on, I probably won't even use plywood for this. I'll probably use 2 6-foot, maybe 6 foot long, maybe 1/4 inch or 3/8 inch by 4 inch hardwood boards, and attach these, probably just glue them. I wouldn't necessarily do that with regular Lego, but these base plates are not, because they're so thin, these are not, I don't feel any particular need to baby these, and probably glue the boards on the back there, and then be able to mount the boards on the wall with some kind of wall hangers attached to studs. So that's kind of what I'm looking at here. Now I want to go back to the computer, and again I apologize, I know this is not the best way to show this, but it saves me from doing voiceovers. So my code that generated the grid that you saw, it also generates some other useful information. And in particular, it tells me how many studs there are of each color. Now, in this design, I'm using 10 different colors: white, dark bluish gray, light bluish gray, medium azure, medium blue, dark green, tan, medium dark flesh, and reddish brown. And so the numbers here are basically the hex codes, the RGB hex codes for the numbers expressed as integers. So 13056, that's dark green. So I have 264 studs of dark green. That's generally for trees. The next color, medium blue, 2451 studs of medium blue, and that's going to be the sky. So that's a lot of pieces, a lot of tiles to put in the sky. Reddish brown, only 117. Dark gray, 691. Medium azure, 556. That's going to be the lower part of the sky, so don't need quite as many as those as the medium blue. Dark tan, 535. Medium dark flesh, 275. Tan, 694. The other really big one here, and this is actually the most studs, is light gray, and that's for the snow cover. And so that's for the slightly darker, slightly shaded snow cover. And then for the direct snow cover, the white, 1693. So if we go back to here, and zoom out just a little bit. So what we can see here is that this is actually foreground hills, in front of the higher peaks. And so this area in the picture is a little bit lighter than down here. I'm kind of exaggerating that a little bit. But up in here, that's because the sun was fairly low in the sky, so it's illuminating the higher areas better than it is illuminating these lower areas. There's a pretty significant height, hundreds of feet of height difference from here to here. And so there's a lot of this light gray in the lower parts and then the white in the upper parts for the snow. And down here, same kind of thing, it's just that the light gray part is getting smaller and smaller, so in this half that's about evenly split between white and light gray, whereas over here it's dominated by the light gray. A lot of large areas of light gray. And we'll see if I might, I've got to tweak this. I've got to get rid of the blues that are in the middle here. That's just something that happens. One of the problems with making these mosaics is that you're averaging together many pixels in the original image. So for instance here, this is an average of the blue sky and the white snow. And so what I'll probably do there is just make those medium azure pixels there, make those either white or dark blue, or sorry, medium blue. And you have the same things down here. Occasionally you'll combine white and a greenish or dark color, and you might get something that best matches medium azure. If I were using more colors, this might show up as regular green or light green or something like that. That's the other thing, is when you limit it to a certain number of colors, sometimes you get unusual results. Now, I had a lot of trouble on these cliffs because the color is really kind of a lightish gray in the original picture and in reality. But that doesn't provide enough contrast with some of the snow. And now some of the cliffs are actually more of a brownish or tannish color. This one in particular is a lighter color than the other ones. And this dark gray is probably a little much, but it was kind of a balance of getting something that seemed fairly realistic while still providing contrast. And this is something, if you're making these photo mosaics, you have to take that into account. I actually took my original picture and I did some tweaks in a photo editing software, and kind of enhanced or de-enhanced certain things and kind of stretched the contrast a little bit to make it so that the result, when I pixelized it and matched it to the 10 Lego colors I wanted to use, that it was as realistic as possible. So for the actual construction, just like with the cardinal bird mosaic, I do want to make sure to have pieces going across the gaps between the base plates as much as possible to give it stability. Now again, this will be mounted on wood, but I still want this to be as stable as possible, because this is actually going to be a little bit larger than my table. My table is actually 6 feet long exactly, but I may not be able to use all 6 feet of that, and this is going to be a little bit larger than 6 feet. So I want these to be attached as well as possible. So I'll have the sky pieces going across that, make sure that they overlap across that, and then wherever else I can do that. I'm going to probably start with the sky, kind of fill that in, because that's going to be tiles, and then everything else I think is going to be plates. And so that's just like with the cardinal, a flat background with tiles, and then plates coming up for the mountain in this case. So anyway, I know that's a fair bit of detail and not showing you anything that's actually started or completed here, but that's what's going to go on for this relatively large mosaic. This is going to have over 10,000 studs, and so this ought to be pretty, this is going to be really cool when it's finished. And so I'm going to probably do several updates over the coming weeks as I gradually work on this.